Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad and Instagram at Movies TV Mad 555. Of course, I don't just talk about movies. Sometimes I talk about football. And today, again, I'm in the mood to talk about football. The disgusting racial attacks against the players who missed the penalties for England against Italy on Sunday has created, let's just say, a distraction. Similar things have happened to Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where maybe something's happened and we've had racial attacks against our black players. It's distracted from the criticism against Ole. Now, as disgusting as these racial attacks are, and I am a Greek Cypriot man who was born and bred in the UK, who was racially attacked many times in the UK, let's be absolutely clear about that, but I will not allow these racial attacks to let Gareth Southgate and his players off the hook. Because today I want to talk about England and their loser mentality. As the two lads walked to take the penalty, the lads who missed the penalties, even before they took the penalties as they were walking, I could see they were defeated men already. Why? What were they afraid of? You're going to say to me, they're only 19, they're only 20, they're only 23. I don't use that as an excuse. They are being paid millions of pounds weekly to be able to score a penalty. A penalty to a top flight player should be easy. Now, I know lots of kind of elements of taking a penalty. Obviously, half of it is psychological and the other half is ability. And I understand that. But at the end of the day, who's coaching these lads? You know, because when you're coaching them, you've got to create scenarios, pressured scenarios. And I was always under the opinion and thought that that's what they did. But these lads just didn't seem ready to take, let's be honest, for them, a simple penalty. The penalties were awful. Let's make no mistake about them. They were weak penalties because these were defeated young men. So, the players who took the penalties for Italy had no such problem. They seemed very confident. When I see Bruno Fernandes take a penalty, when I used to see Ruud van Nistelrooy take a penalty, but especially Eric Cantona, the glee in their faces as they went to take the penalty, they wanted to take the penalty. They wanted to send the keeper the wrong way. But these young lads didn't have the confidence. And there's a problem with that. There's a problem with the British mentality, and I don't like it. I'm hearing a lot of, we're proud of you boys. Oh, it doesn't matter. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually said they're heroes and winners already for going up to take the penalties. I couldn't disagree with that more. Now, we didn't lose this competition merely because of the penalties. We failed. Firstly, we took the lead and we didn't go for the throats of the Italians. They were at 6s and 7s. We could have doubled our lead easily if we went for them while we were in the lead, and we didn't. But I really want to talk about the penalties and the penalty takers and the mentality. You know, as I say, the loser mentality of the English footballer. And it's been there for a very long time. When Stuart Pearce missed his penalty, it was the same thing. When it's Pearce, it's psycho, he's amazing, right? Who cares if he missed? You should care. He should care, and I'm sure he did, because Stuart Pearce was a very passionate, proud Englishman. So I'm sure that he was devastated. Gareth Southgate missed his penalty, a very good midfielder, stroke defender at the time. But he should have done better. And these lads should have done better. And it's not about their ability, it's mentally. What happened mentally to them was fear. Now, a lot of people have said, why did they take the penalties and not more experienced players? The Grealish situation. Listen, I don't know how the manager dealt with this, if the players dealt with this amongst themselves. Maybe these players were so eager to take these penalties, but if it was because of them that the penalties got taken, then they surely would have known that fear was going to take them over, and they shouldn't take them unless there was a sudden death situation. Then you've got no choice. Everyone's got to take a penalty, right? So they had no right to take the penalties if they knew they didn't have the confidence to take the penalties. As I say, right now everyone's blowing smoke up these players. And the racial attacks, let's be clear, that they had are outrageous. But don't let the racial attacks distract you or be afraid of criticising these players. You've got to do better than that, lads. This was our greatest opportunity to win a tournament. I don't think we'll get a better one in our lifetime, as I discussed in yesterday's videos. Those players walked up with a loser mentality, not a winner's mentality. You don't see that mentality from the Germans, the Italians, the Spaniards. In fact, the Spaniards played really well against Italy. But the point being that it was the mentality of the players before they took the penalty that made them miss the penalties. And I wonder what happens at the clubs and at the international setups as well. Are these players so wealthy, so beyond reproach and criticism, that not even the managers can take them to one side and say, I notice you lack confidence in certain situations. I think we need to spend some time together. Let's build your natural confidence up. Because if you build their confidence as people up, then they'll be more confident in those situations. Now, it must be a terribly precious situation, but I've explained yesterday, I write, direct and star in my own plays in the theatre here in Cyprus. That is nerve-wracking in itself. Now, it's not an elite sport, I admit. But I feel the pressure, but I don't drop my lines. I don't drop my performance. In fact, it inspires my performance because I know when I'm standing on that stage, I cannot fail. If I fail myself, I fail my cast, and I fail the whole crew who set up the play. I can't do that, and neither can they. They can score a penalty, they were just afraid to score the penalty. And if you're going to get such stage fright, should you be playing the game? This isn't about race or anything else. And I know everyone's, it's interesting. When things become a trend, everyone wants to discuss them. But it's never for me about somebody's race. Look at me, a Greek Cypriot who's been racially abused in the UK growing up. I don't know if I've told you the story. I think I've said it on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know it. About 12 years old, walking home from school. I was feeling happy, confident. These thugs rolled down their window and shouted out, "Oi, P!" I won't tell you the rest of the word, just in case I get in trouble. I was so frightened for hours. I sat down, I never told anyone about it, and I was shaking. So I know what racial abuse is about. And I will not justify it, and I will not make excuses for it. But I won't let it distract me from the analysis of the game. Because as I've said before when I talk about football, there's a lot of elite YouTubers out there who are worried about upsetting this one and upsetting that one. I'm a very, very small YouTuber. I've got 56, 57 subscribers. I've got about 20 people who are interested in my videos. I normally talk about entertainment and DC live action, which I'm very passionate about. But I'm also passionate about football. And when I saw those players walk up, I said to myself, and I said to my girlfriend, I said, they look so scared. And she goes, well, you can understand it. I said, I can understand it, I said, but they should be thriving in this situation, right? Or they shouldn't be in the game. This shouldn't be their career. 19 is young, but they're not 6-year-olds, they're not 10-year-olds. In fact, I've seen 10-year-olds take more confident penalties. And I'm talking about 10-year-olds who play proper football, under pressure as well. I understand it's pressured, but there's lots of pressured situations. When you're a surgeon and you're doing surgery on someone that could kill them or save their lives, that's a bigger pressure, I think, right? But everyone can only face the challenges in front of them. And I think they need to be taught to do better, because we could have won that game either in open play when we were 1-0 up. That was the first loser mentality failure. First of all, Southgate didn't play his best players. When you're in the final, you play your best players. He got away with it in the other games, trying to be tactical. Fair enough. But you weren't going to get away with it against Italy. In fact, we're lucky that this may be one of the best teams in the world right now, but it's not one of the best Italian sides, and they didn't score a couple of more goals past us. So that gave us a chance in terms of the penalties. But it was the selection of the penalty takers. As a manager, you can't just let people say, right, I'll take it. You've got to look at the psychology of your players. Who are the players who can do this? There's nothing to... Listen, they should not be ashamed. I respect the fact that they went out and they had the guts to take the penalties, right? But ultimately, they didn't have the guts, because we saw what happened. So I respect them to that point of view. But please, the only way English teams, and I'm not talking about domestically, we have the most expensive league in the world. Some people claim it's the best. I have my doubts about that. And if it is the best, it's the foreign players that make it the best, not the English players. Another controversial opinion for you, which I'm not saying to be controversial, but that's my honest opinion. Who were the best players in the early Man United teams under Fergie? Cantona and Schmeichel. Let's be honest about it. But we brag the best league in the world, the best players in the world. We think our English players are the best in the world. I don't agree with that, but hey, there you go. So if they're the best in the world, they should be able to walk up with confidence and bang a couple of penalties away. But they weren't, because Southgate obviously didn't talk to them or prep them before the game. And that, my friends, is where it's all gone wrong. That's why England haven't won a trophy since 1966. Those players went out. They were winners. They were the best in the world, and they did it because of their winner mentality. Life's about mentality, whether you're an actor, director, writer, a sports performer, even a stripper, even a porn star. You've got to have the confidence to look like you know what you're doing. And those lads should never have taken a penalty unless it was sudden death. But it's our loser mentality that's keeping us without a trophy. Those fans didn't go to that stadium to see England lose. We didn't turn our tellies on to see England lose. We believed they could win, and they could have won. If only they had the winner's mentality. I will see you again in the next video.